Good morning, students. Welcome back to Introduction to Microbiology Part 2. In today's class, we will discuss on major contributions made in the development of microbiology. We begin with biogenesis. Biogenesis refers to the process whereby a living thing comes from another living thing, particularly of the same type. It was not widely accepted before. The popular theory was spontaneous generation, which presupposes that life could come from inanimate objects or non living things. People used to believe that maggots emerged from rotting meat spontaneously, that a living organism as complex as mice could have been produced from non living matter. Spontaneous generation is also known as abiogenesis. In 1668, Italian physician Francesco Redi has performed an experiment to disprove spontaneous generation. In his book Osservazioni intorno agili animali viventi cisi trovano negili animali vivento, which means observation of living animals found in living animals. He described about 100 parasites including roundworm. Reedy has performed the experiment taking 6 jars with decaying meat. Out of these 6 jars, 3 jars were covered with fine net, whereas the other 3 jars were left open. As a result, the jars covered with fine net has shown no maggots, whereas open jars have shown maggots. So, consequently, he is questioning the following questions: from where did the maggots came? What was the purpose of the sealed jars? Whether it is spontaneous generation or biogenesis. Later, Rudolf Virchow, a German physician known as father of modern pathology and pope of medicine, proposed cell theory calling omnis cellula celluli cellula, which means all cells come from cells. So, here he presented biogenesis. Living cells can arise only from pre existing cells. He described diseases such as leukemia, chordoma, ochronosis, embolism, and thrombosis. He described the life cycle of roundworm Trichinella spiralis, influenced the practice of meat inspection. He developed first systematic method of autopsy. So now there are two hypotheses. The hypothesis that living organisms arise from non-living matter is called spontaneous generation, according to which a vital force forms life. The alternative hypothesis is that living organisms arise from pre-existing life called biogenesis. Thus began the golden age of microbiology in 1857 until 1914. It began with Pasteur's work disproving spontaneous generation and include many developments in the area of microbiology by forming the relationship between microbes and diseases, immunity studies, and antimicrobial drugs discovery. Louis Pasteur, a French chemist and microbiologist renowned for his discoveries of principles of vaccines, fermentations, and pasteurization. He conducted the following experiment to prove spontaneous generation. He has taken nutrient broth placed in flask, heated and not sealed. He has taken another nutrient broth placed in flask, heated and sealed. What he found is the sealed nutrient broth has shown no microbial growth, whereas unsealed nutrient broth had shown microbial growth. And here again there is a question whether it is spontaneous generation or biogenesis. He demonstrated that microorganisms are present in the air in 1861. Then he has performed another experiment called Pasteur's S-shaped flask experiment, which kept microbes out of contact to the flask contents. For this purpose, he has taken flask with S-shaped neck, and this experiment formed the basis for aseptic techniques. So, in this S-shaped neck or swan neck experiment, he has taken three conditions. The first condition is he has applied heat for the broth and left the flask sit, where he has observed no bacteria in it. Again, he has heated the flask, removed the neck, and let it sit. Bacteria were present. In the third condition, he applied heat and he has slightly tilted the flask so that the air enters into the flask and reaches the contents. To his observations, bacteria were present. So Pasteur demonstrated that these spoilage bacteria could be killed by heat that was not hot enough to evaporate the alcohol in wine. This application of high heat for a short time is called pasteurization. Pasteur showed that microbes are responsible for fermentation. Fermentation means it is the conversion of sugar to alcohol to make beer and wine. Microbial growth is also responsible for spoilage of food. Bacteria that use alcohol and produce acetic acid spoil wine by turning it into vinegar or acetic acid. He first coined the term microbiology for the study of organisms of microscopic size. For his innumerable contributions in the field, he is also known as modern father of microbiology. Pasteur's findings. In 1854, Pasteur was appointed as professor of chemistry and dean of the science faculty at the University of Lille. He was asked to help solve problems related to alcohol production. He investigated a broad range of aspects of fermentation, including production of lactic acid and butyric acid. In 1857, he was appointed as manager and director of scientific studies at the École Normale Supérieure. He presented experimental evidence for the participation of living organisms in fermentation, showing that a specific organism was associated with each particular fermentation. This evidence gave rise to the fermentation. He further proposed that the putrefaction is due to specific germs that function under anaerobic conditions. In 1863, at the request of the Emperor of France, Napoleon III, he studied wine contamination. He heated wine at 50 to 60 degrees centigrade to prevent contamination. Later, this particular technique was known as pasteurization. In 1865, he solved the problem to the silk industry by discovering that the silkworm disease is caused by a protozoan, and he also developed a technique to prevent the disease and saved the silk industry throughout the world. In 1879, he inoculated chickens with attenuated bacterial culture causing chicken cholera and demonstrated chickens were resistant to the virulent strain. He developed anthrax vaccine in 1881 and immunized 70 farm animals, and these farm animals were found to be resistant to the anthrax disease. The vaccine procedure involved 2 inoculations at intervals of 12 days with vaccines of different potencies. The first vaccine is of lower potency, whereas the second vaccine was of higher potency. And when this group of animals were exposed to the virulent strain, they found to be resistant. Eventually, he developed vaccine to rabies in 1886. Outcome of Pasteur's findings. Pasteur showed that microorganisms can be present in non-living matter, on solids, in liquids, and in air. He demonstrated that microbial life can be destroyed by heat and devised methods to block access of airborne microorganisms to nutrients. These discoveries formed the basis of aseptic techniques, techniques that prevent contamination by unwanted microorganisms, which are now the standard practice in laboratory and many medical procedures. Pasteur's work provided evidence that microorganisms cannot originate from mystic forces preset in the non living matter. Scientists now believe that a form of spontaneous generation probably did occur on primitive Earth when life first began. Pasteur showed that microbes are responsible for fermentation. Thus, he disproved spontaneous generation and established biogenesis. Moving on to the next theory is germ theory of disease. In 1835, Agostino Bessi showed a silkworm disease was caused by fungus. In 1865, Pasteur believed that another silkworm disease was caused by a protozoan. In 1840s, Ignaz Semmelweis advocated hand washing to prevent transmission of puerperal fever from one OB patient to another. In 1860s, Joseph Lister used a chemical disinfectant known as carbolic acid or phenol to prevent surgical wound infections after looking at Pasteur's work showing microbes are in the air, can spoil food and cause animal diseases. In those days, the phenol was used to protect wood on ships. In 1876, Robert Koch provided proof that a bacterium causes anthrax and proved the experimental steps. Koch postulates used to prove that a specific microbe causes a specific disease. Heinrich Hermann Robert Koch was a German physician and microbiologist. He identified the specific causative agent of tuberculosis, cholera, and anthrax and gave experimental support for the concept of germ theory. For his research on tuberculosis, he received Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1905. Koch postulates are used to prove the cause of an infectious disease. Here, he has inoculated a healthy mice with the disease causing microorganism produced or received from a dead mice infected with pneumonia. And this mice was observed for the similar symptoms which were seen in the dead mice, and he extracted the again this in fresh mice was found to be dead with the same symptoms of pneumonia, and from this dead mice he has isolated the microorganisms, observed its morphological characters, and found that it is similar to the morphological characteristics of the microorganisms obtained from the previously dead mice. Koch postulates are a sequence of experimental steps to relate a specific microbe to a specific disease. The disease is produced in the second animal. Microorganisms are isolated from this animal, and the pathogenic microorganisms are grown in a pure culture, and identical microorganisms are identified in the second mice too. So, Koch postulate states that a specific microorganism is always present in organisms with a specific disease. The organism must be cultured away from the host. Inoculation of a new host must lead to the same disease. The microbe must be recultured from the inoculated host. Koch findings. Koch also determined that the organisms that cause anthrax, now called Bacillus anthracis, has a life cycle that included a very resistant spore, endospore, that could survive for years in soil. Koch went on to study other diseases, and many of his students and colleagues made important discoveries in microbiology. Koch's lab was also the birthplace of pure culture microbiology, especially after Fanny Hess discovered that agar could be used as a solidifying agent for bacteriological media in 1882. Earlier to this, all the experiments were done using a broth media. After Fanny Hess' discovery of agar using as a solidifying agent, then agar plates have come to the existence, and with this Koch was able to see the morphological characteristics of a particular type of microorganism on the agar plates. Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner is known for developing vaccination. A young milkmaid informed the physician Edward Jenner that she could not get smallpox because she has already been sick for cowpox. In 1796, he inoculated a person with cowpox virus. The person was then protected from smallpox. This mechanism was called vaccination, which has emerged from the va, which means cow, and the process of protection is known as immunity. The difference between cowpox and smallpox is they are structurally similar except their size. Cowpoxes are larger in size when compared to the smallpox. So vaccination can be obtained from avirulent microbial strains, or can be produced from living viruses or from virus particles. Thus, vaccination was strongly established by Edward Jenner. Later, moving on to the next major milestone in the area of microbiology is chemotherapy, treatment with chemicals. Chemotherapeutic agents used to treat infectious diseases can be synthetic drugs or antibiotics. Antibiotics are chemicals produced by bacteria and fungi that inhibit or kill other microbes. Quinine tree bark was also used to treat malaria. Chemotherapy is well known since 1910, with Paul Ehrlich developing a synthetic arsenic drug salvarsan to treat syphilis. Later in 1930s, sulfonamides were synthesized. In 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered the first antibiotic. He observed that penicillin fungus made an antibiotic penicillin that killed Staphylococcus aureus in his laboratory when the plates were left unnoticed for a week or so. And this is how the adjacent picture shows how penicillin colony is inhibiting the growth. A clear zone is observed around the penicillin colony inhibiting the growth of Staphylococcus aureus. In 1940s, penicillin was tested clinically and made available through mass production. He is Alexander Fleming. Antibiotics and other chemotherapeutic drugs face many problems like toxicity to humans in practical use, specifically antiviral drugs, the emergence and spread of new varieties of microorganisms that are resistant to antibiotics due to bacterial enzymes that inactivate antibiotics, or prevention of antibiotics from entering the microbe. Next, moving on to soil microbiology. Soil is notoriously hard to completely sterilize because of the large concentration of endospores in most soils. Even a single autoclave run of 90 minutes will not sterilize most soils. In contrast, most liquids are completely sterile after 20 minutes of autoclaving. A standard method for sterilizing soil is to autoclave it for 90 minutes, then let the soil cool overnight, allowing endospores to germinate before re-autoclaving it for 90 minutes the next day. Sergei Vinogradskaya, 1856 to 1953. Sergei Vinogradskaya was the first to describe sulfur oxidizing bacteria such as Beggiota. These organisms are chemoautotrophs which fix CO2 without photosynthesis and use inorganic chemicals as their source of energy. The question of interest: what microorganisms can be found over time living in the ecosystem created in a Vinogradskaya column? The hypothesis is Vinogradskaya column will demonstrate succession of microbial populations and change in the environment brought about by certain microbial groups. And these are the columns which appear uh, when building a Vinogradskaya column. What result of Vinogradskaya column? Although each column is unique, depending on its various soil compositions over a sufficient amount of time, patterns will emerge within the column. They show certain on the column. The three major zones are as follows. The aerobic zone, in which oxygen will diffuse in and out of the surface of the layer. The oxidized zone consists of nitrates, nitrites, sulfates, and oxidized iron. The reducing zone consists of ammonium, sulfide, and reduced iron. Each of these zones host specific organism. Example of organisms that might be found in the aerobic zone include algae and cyanobacteria belonging to prokaryotic photoautotrophic groups. The transition from aerobic to oxidized zone represents a microzone. Following organisms, chemoautotrophs, both nitrifiers and sulfur oxidizers are found in this microzone. Following microzone, in oxidized zone, heterotrophs dominate, including the denitrifiers and sulfate reducers. In addition, fermenters may also be found in this zone. In reducing zone, anaerobic condition dominates, which is at the base of the column. Anaerobic photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs are residents as well as sulfate reducers, methanogens, and the ever present fermenters. So this is the picture of Vinogradskaya column with sulfur metabolizing bacteria. Here we can see different colors of the zones. The uppermost zone is with water, followed by rust colored zone containing non-sulfur purple bacteria, followed by purple color zone containing thiobacillus, and next the red zone consists of purple sulfur bacteria, while the green zone contains sulfur reducing bacteria and green sulfur bacteria. Dmitry Ivanovsky, 1864 to 1920, was a Russian botanist, one of the discoverer of microbial nature of viruses, and thus one of the founder of virology. Ivanovsky studied at the University of St. Petersburg in 1887 when he was sent to Ukraine and Bessarabia to investigate a tobacco disease causing a great damage to plantation at that time. 3 years later, he was assigned to look into similar disease of tobacco plants in Crimea region. He discovered that both the diseases were caused by an extremely minuscule infectious agent capable of permeating porcelain chamberlain filters, something which bacteria could never do. He described his findings in an article and in a dissertation in 1902. In 1896, Dutch microbiologist Martinus Beijerinck independently rated Ivanovsky's experiments and became convinced that the filtered solution contained a new form of infectious agent which he named as virus. Bajering subsequently acknowledged Ivanovsky's priority of discovery. He isolated aerobic nitrogen fixing soil bacteria, Estobacter and Rhizobium, and sulfate reducing bacteria. Bajering and Vinogradsky pioneered the use of enrichment cultures and selective media. That's about all the major contributions made in the development of microbiology. Let's have a summary of what we have discussed today. Anton van Leeuwenhoek first observed living microorganisms and named them as animalcules. Francisco Redi has experimented to disprove spontaneous generation. Louis Pasteur has gave standing principles for fermentation, pasteurization, vaccination, and even proposed a germ theory of disease and proposed aseptic techniques. Pasteur and Tyndall both finally disproved spontaneous generation. Joseph Lister used phenol or carbolic acid to disinfect wounds, first antiseptic theory in surgery. Von Behring was the first to receive Nobel Prize in Medicine for his work on diphtheria. Robert Koch proposed germ theory, identified microbes that cause anthrax, tuberculosis, and cholera, developed microbiological media and streak plates for pure culture, and won Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 1905. Edward Jenner developed vaccination for smallpox. Alexander Fleming discovered the first antibiotic. Martinus Bajering isolated nitrogen fixing bacteria and called filterable infectious substances as viruses. Sergei Vinogradsky was the first to describe sulfur oxidizing bacteria such as Beggiota. Dmitry Ivanovsky reported the first experiment that point to the existence of virus. So, father of microbiology is Anton van Leeuwenhoek, father of modern microbiology is Louis Pasteur, father of bacteriology is Robert Koch, father of soil microbiology Sergei Vinogradsky, father of mycology Heinrich Anton D. Berry, father of virology Martinus Bajering, father of parasitology and father of experimental biology is Francisco Redi, father of algology is F.E. Frisch. Some important days to remember. Feb 4th is World Day, March 24th World TB Day, April 7th World Health Day, April 25th World Malaria Day, April 29th World Immunology Day, June 27th World Microbiome Day, June 28th World Hepatitis Day, September 17th is International Microorganisms Day, September 28th is World Rabies Day, and December 1st is World AIDS Day. The tireless efforts of these scientists have provided us with a crucial understanding of many diseases and have led to a society free of many of them. Thank you all.